Hello, trail travelers. It is Kerry, and we're going to take a look at this new GMRS mobile radio today. This is from Retevis and designed to go in your vehicle, right? So what do we have going on here? We've got 40 watts of power. So the maximum that you can get with GMRS is 50 watts. So this is 40 watts. Now that's compared to a handheld unit, which is typically 5 watts or less. So 5 watts, 40 watts. So if you really want to reach out and touch someone, more power is always better. Now, of course, that needs to be paired with a good antenna, and you can get an antenna package from Retevis with this, or get your own antenna, or if you're upgrading from an existing thing, you already have an antenna, that's great. So on the front here, we've got a main dial for our channels. We've got our on-off switch and volume, a call button, VFO, MR, low, the fun button, because everything needs a fun button, right? And megahertz. So a couple of interesting features on this. I mean, these buttons aren't very intuitive off the top. You do need to kind of read the manual and figure it out. And then plus there's an on-off switch over here. On the back, we have data and speaker. Now data is going to go to a USB cable that's included, and you download their software, which only runs on Windows, and you can do additional programming on here. Speaker for an external speaker. And then the handheld piece has different keys on it as well as different functions. You can change the channel from here and do call, VFO, MR, and PF on here. So most of the features are going to be available on the handheld. Now, one thing to note is it does not have a standard microphone knob on the back to just slip into existing mounts. So I found that a little weird, but overall, it is a solid unit. It's been working really great. Tested it quite a bit. We set it up with our local repeaters. I tested those, and I live about 30 miles away from our main repeater, and I was able to reach the repeater no problem. People said that I sounded fantastic, and the incoming calls on this sounded really good. So the audio quality was fantastic. Now, there's two things I think that separate this from most of the other ones that you're going to see, like a Midland MXT 500 or 575 or something, is that first off, it has dual receive capability. So there's 2 channels on there, like a lot of handheld radios. So you can be on one channel while monitoring another. And if something comes in on that one and you respond immediately, then you'll broadcast on that one, and it's easy to switch between the 2. So if we have a main trail channel that we're on with a group, and I want a different channel for like my mid gunner and my tail gunner, I can do that, and I can monitor that as well. So that's a really cool feature, being able to monitor 2 different channels at the same time. Secondly is price. This thing is, if I may get this wrong, I think it was $149. I'll have all the info down here below, but compare that to $300, $400, $500 for a high-end radio. That makes this thing extremely affordable, and putting out 40 watts is fantastic. So my overall impressions of it so far have been, it's a little tricky to program from the menu that's built into it. You can do it, and it's first you go function megahertz to get into the menu. That's the main thing you got to know. The manual's pretty clear on this stuff. There was a funny thing, is that the first time I set it up and started to use it, it had Roger Beep enabled, and I don't know anybody who uses Roger Beep, so I had to figure out how to turn that off. Looked it up in the manual, figured it out. Wasn't that difficult. I used the software to set it up for our repeaters, and that was very simple to do. So good job on that. I wish it would have just worked with Chirp, because we use that all the time, and that works on a Mac, but their software is Windows only. The audio quality was fantastic. I really liked the audio quality and the amount of volume I got out of the internal speaker. I have no problem wanting to put this on an external speaker. It worked absolutely fine. Standard antenna mount on the back, so I was able to just connect to my existing antenna that we've got on the Jeep. Everything just worked right out of the box. So I'm going to say I'm pretty impressed with this thing. If you're looking for a mobile GMRS radio that's going to put out a lot more power than your typical handheld, and you don't want to break the bank with a big name brand or anything, this Retevis is going to do the job. So far, it's been fantastic. Now, how it's going to hold up if I had been in the Jeep in the dusty and that type of conditions that we have, that's why I went to the Midland MXT 500, because it's weather sealed, so I have less issues of any moisture or dust on it. I'm not sure how this one is going to hold up in those situations, but I think for a lot of people, getting into a radio that's going to put out some power at an affordable price is going to be the way to go. So I'm going to give a big thumbs up to the Retevis radio. I think they did a good job. I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. And for the price, the level of features that you get is actually better than some of the high-end radios. So Retevis GMRS radio, check them out. All the links will be in the description below if you want to find one for yourself. Thanks for watching. This has been Kerry with Trail Traveler. Be safe out there. We'll see you on the trails.